My parents had often told me the story about how the 1964 Civil Rights Act motivated them to file legal papers to try to get into the United States of America for a better life. It took them about 7 years to lawfully enter the USA, but they trusted in the American dream of financial improvement, that if you work hard, live right, and get a good education, then you will be rewarded by having a better life. Walking into a classroom where no one spoke my native language, everyone dressed differently and looked dissimilar, was indeed tough for a sheltered, sensitive little girl. I endured ridicule from other students and teachers, and I heard cruel and callous comments no child should ever have to hear. Every day I went home and begged my mother to not send me back to that torture. Nevertheless, every school day she would send me back conveying these parting words: education is your ticket out of poverty. Stay strong, and someday your time will come. It was during this period I pledged to myself that if I survived this experience and I became an adult, then I would become a bilingual teacher and make sure no child would ever have to feel the sting of discrimination like I had. My lifestyles inventory indicate that my strengths are in the area of achievement and self-actualization, revealing that I don't let roadblocks or obstacles prevent me from getting a goal accomplished. I believe my experiences with racism as a child gave me an inner strength to persevere and face any challenge that life offered. Fast forward to middle school, and these same issues shadowed me into my teen years. My favorite class had been physical education class because I knew I was athletically talented. My PE teacher introduced me to a sport that would change the course of my life. I seemed to be a natural from almost the first time I held a tennis racket in my hand. The sound of that green tennis ball smacking against the racket was exhilarating, and I could take out all those frustrations that had built up inside me over the years. I was hooked on the sport, and on that tennis court, no one touched me. Hours of practice on the tennis court developed my body into a trim, tone, and fit physique. Being a star athlete came with many perks, and those same people that once laughed and mocked at me for having a Spanish accent, dark skin, eyes, and hair, now wanted to be friends with me, and the boys wanted to date me. Logically, in my head, I now know that the 1964 Civil Rights Act had only been passed a few years earlier, and that adjustments in people's thinkings needed more time to adapt to a revolutionizing new decade. However, understanding the reasons for this discrimination doesn't erase the years of torture and cruelty inflicted on me by those close-minded racists. If I could go back in time and ask those people, why were they so cruel? What had I done to them to make me hate me so? I guess I'll never know the reasons for their hatred of me, but I speculate that racism was a learned behavior which was accepted in their home. Maybe they were scared that foreigners would take over their country, or maybe that one of their precious white boys would marry one of those Mexicans, a phrase I heard on a regular basis at my elementary school. Maybe it was the way they were raised, where they thought they were better than Hispanics, or possibly it was learned racism. I suppose I will never know the answer, but it left an invisible scar on my heart. I think the cultural experiences, such as the ones I've discussed above, could help me become a better educational leader because it gives me insight into the Latino culture. As a bilingual teacher, having similar cultural experiences as my students has helped given me an awareness into how to motivate them to become more academically successful. Presently, my lifestyles inventory indicated that I leaned toward the task-oriented style of leadership. I think it's mainly due to my perfectionist nature. Nevertheless, I hope to someday develop into a more constructive style of leadership with an emphasis on the humanistic side. The educational environment should be one where students and teachers' voices are heard and validated. It's extremely easy to be caught up in the day-to-day running of a school, failing to remember that students and teachers are a group of individuals, and each has their own history, their own stories, their own likes and dislikes. We must take time to get to know something about our teachers, students, staff, parents, and community. Overall, I believe my experiences with discrimination at an early age influenced me to seek out formal education, because I was raised to believe that education is the ticket out of poverty. Resonating in my mind is my mother's reassuring me that it would be better tomorrow, your time will come. I suppose my mother truly believed that Dr. King's dream would someday be reality, and that people's thinking would change to accept people of all colors. Her thinking corresponds to the Socrates and the Socratic school. If anybody does evil, they should not be punished, but instructed what not to do.
In becoming a bilingual teacher?
I want to become a bilingual teacher because it seems like a fun job and fun with working with students.
Well, you know what, Diana? When you're having fun and love what you do, it's not really a job. I highly recommend it. Hopefully you can qualify for the BISD Scholarship Initiative.
Indeed, my time did come, because today I am able to make a positive impact on students at the same district where I was once discriminated against as a child. Now that's power.
One of my key aims as a future educational leader is to nurture a humanistic view of guidance, to build cultural awareness, construct bridges to trust, respect, and understanding within a multicultural workplace, promoting productive interactions and agreements. In addition, identify that to be effective in the 21st century, we must ensure our students are able to exhibit a variety of efficient and critical thinking skills connected to information, media, and technology.